Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board work session here on Thursday, December 8th. Let's get started.
By the pledge.
I will do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
I'll never argue with it, but it's not necessary. It's work session.
I like this tradition.
All right. Okay. I would like to open up with public hearing. Can I get a motion to open up? Can I get a motion to open up public hearing, please?
Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Patty, before we start, can we get some publishings and postings?
That was published in the Somers Record on November 24th and posted on the town clerk bulletin board. Sorry.
Okay, great. So before we dive into budget here, we have a few changes I'd just like to address with you.
You may want to sit down for a little bit because you're.
Yeah, you're gonna be a few minutes here, but thank you. Okay, so we have a few changes here. Patty, so you can take this down. Tax assessor is going to move up to 4,544. Supervisor confidential secretary is moving down 688. Finance director is moving up 7,285. Tax receiver is moving up 5,268. Deputy tax receiver moving up 2,358. Park superintendent moving up 3,432. Parks intermediate clerk moving down 138. Parks labor personal services is moving down 4,382. Deputy superintendent of highways salary and longevity is moving down 539. Secretary to highway superintendent moving up 2,429. Shared services, longevity, and salaries is moving up 2,350. Health insurance is moving up 16,332. Nutrition director is moving down 727. Nutrition food service helper part-time is moving down 1,722. Nutrition transportation part-time drivers is moving down 489. Deputy clerk is moving up 2,358. Town clerk, intermediate clerk, part-time, moving down 81. Police first officer in charge, moving down 497. Police personal services, moving down 529. Dog control officer, moving down 148. Safety inspections, personal services is moving up 87. Historian personal services is moving down 22. And records management is moving down 81. That is a net change to the tax levy of $36,400, which is coming from an increase in sales tax and fund balance, our general fund. That is coming from the library revenue fund balance. The fund balance library general fund is moving up 7,293. And those contractual expenses are moving down 1,040. Personal services are moving down 6,667. Health insurance is moving up 15,000 for a positive number of 7,293. And net change to tax levy is 0. Okay. Moving on with that as well. Very happy with the overall budget here. We are under the tax cap. The tax cap was set at 2.65, and we were underneath the tax cap, and we are at 1% a town tax levy for the town of Somers. So that's a great job that we have done on that regards. Over the last, to give you just a little history here, since 2013, the average increase for Somers taxpayers has been 1.19% over the last since 2013 to 2023. The average there. So that's great news. We're holding true to our commitment to being one of the lowest tax towns in Westchester County, and we will continue to do our service for the town. Anybody here have anything to say at all?
No, it was a difficult job as usual, but a great job by the team and our finance director, Bob Kehoe, and I think the taxpayers are going to enjoy the conservative spending.
Correct.
I just say these are difficult choices that a town has to make, because in the past several years when interest rates have been so low, you can fund paving and some other things by bonding at almost 0%. But now as those rates go up, you want to bond less in the future as like borrowing on a mortgage. You want to keep that borrowing down. In the past, it was fiscally responsible to do that. It was below inflation level. Now it would not be. And then you have to balance there. If you increase the tax levy, you wouldn't have to bond in the future, maybe put that money away. On the other hand, it's a tough time for people. You don't want that tax levy to go up more than necessary. Finding that balance between all those things, that's fiscal policy for a town. You try to get it right. We believe we have. But just so everybody understands the forces that are involved there between the tax levy, inflation, bonding in the future, saving money so you don't have to bond for things. These are things that you discuss as a town board and that citizens should know about. And if you have questions, ask them.
I agree with the balance, Rich, for sure. All our metrics are very, very strong. We're AA rated bond. AAA rated bonds.
What happened?
Yeah, no, we're still AAA.
Right, and we have tremendous reserves. We've had great audit reports. So from a risk management point of view, I mean, this is a time when we feel that we don't always have to reach for the tax cap. If it's the county or some other towns, they're reaching for the tax cap and they're borrowing. We're doing neither. So I think our commitment to get the most out of what we do, get the highest level of service for the most affordability is our commitment to the town, and we're making those judgments. And I think thanks to the board and the people that work here, they always think about what they're spending and how to save money and do things very frugally. So thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
So,
And we're
Bob,
lucky. I'm sorry. We're lucky to take direction from our finance director.
Yeah.
well, that's what I was just going to
Big
ask.
help.
Bob, how many of Somer's budgets have you worked on now?
Everyone since 2012.
So
10th
basically,
anniversary.
the number that we gave, that Rob gave earlier, the 1.19,
1.19.
Bob, our finance director, has been involved in all of them. And I will say that he's always looking to save the town money. I work with Bob on the risk management committee as well. He's always looking to save the town money and work with the numbers. We are very conservative, but it always benefits us in the end. Like this year alone, just with our revenues are going to exceed our targets by quite a bit. So it's always a pleasure working with Bob, and now with Caroline we used to have books like this, now they're like this, so that's a nice little change also. But I think it's a good budget. I think it covers all the bases that we need in a tough time, and I'm very happy to have been on the board for the entire 10 years that we reference and keeping it at 1.19%. So good job this year, and you'll keep it up.
Yeah, and I also want to say it's just not an easy job. I mean, people out in the public will say, "Oh yeah, just reduce expenses, check this and check that." But what's going on here is contract reviews and shaping contract negotiations and helping us do that, and getting things done in a weighted manner that delivers the highest amount of value for the lowest amount of cost, and that's a skill. That's really a skill. And so we thank you, Bob.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for your help through all this process, and the town board. Thank you so much for making that my first budget that I've gone through. I believe a successful one. So thank you so much to Bob and the rest of the town board for your input and your advice and guiding through this process. So thank you to all of you guys. Appreciate it.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
All good stuff.
All right. On that note, I'd like to make a motion
Whoa.
to. Oh,
Is there anybody in the public who wants to talk about it? There you go.
sure.
Public comment.
Hearing.
What's that?
Well, public comment.
Public hearing, I'm sorry, public
hearing.
hearing, I
Yeah.
apologize.
On the tax, right. Do we have anybody over there, Paul?
Anybody on Zoom?
We do.
Good.
Awesome,
Good.
awesome.
Well, let-
Okay.
Hi, Barbara Tepper,
Barbara.
714 Heritage Hills, speaking on behalf, as president of the Board of Trustees of the Somers Library. I want to personally thank both you, Rob, and Bob Kehoe for reaching out to Jennifer and working with her on trying to find avenues to amend our budget so we could meet the needs of the Somers community. And I really want to thank you for that, because
Thank you.
that really... unfortunately, the children's librarian who we recently hired has resigned. She was immature in several ways.
We don't want to
but-
talk about
Okay,
this.
all right.
Yeah, no.
She resigned, but Jennifer has told me that she does not want to just hire somebody to fill the spot
Right,
unless
right,
they are
definitely.
fully qualified.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a conversation with Jennifer today, and I know she's going to take her time to hire the right person for the position.
Exactly.
And I commend her for that by
Definitely.
taking her time to make sure that that person can be there for a long period of time and use that input that person has gained throughout the years of being that, and to make sure it's the right person. So I told her to take her
Right.
time. And,
But we will
make sure we get
need, unfortunately, we will need the dollar amount to attract and retain the qualified personnel to fill that position.
But we'll-
That's the
we'll-
unfortunate
we'll look at
side
that
of the
bridge when
issue.
we get to it.
That's the unfortunate side of the
But
issue.
isn't that in your budget? There's a salary slot right there.
Right, but it's way below what is normally offered for,
No.
for children's librarians, even in an incoming position. It's a good $10,000 a year cut lower than other libraries are offering. And if you want to get somebody who has the experience and the expertise and the background to be able to do the job effectively, you're talking about a $20,000 a year pay cut.
So this will be a conversation we have when we're
Yeah.
interviewing people and we're talking to people. So I mean, the budget in front of us right now has a dollar amount in it. If it
Right.
doesn't work, we'll have to talk about
We'll
it.
have to
But
talk.
Right.
it's not going to change tonight.
Right, no, it's not gonna, I realize it's not gonna change tonight, but at some point it will have to change in order to meet the needs to properly serve the residents of the town of Somers.
When Jennifer and the library is ready for that decision on who they're going to hire, right, or just before that, if they have a couple candidates, that's when I would ask her to come before us to talk to us about what she's thinking. And there's an open line of communication. That's all it is. Okay.
Thank you so much for that, the open line of communication. Thank you.
Are you thinking of filling that on an interim basis until you find the ideal
On
permanent
the
candidate?
on
Or
a
not?
temporary basis, we're going to be hiring substitutes to come in, which is a catch. You never know what you're really going to get. Yada yada yada.
Right.
And as a professional librarian, I told Jennifer, if you need me, I will volunteer my time. And I will come in, and I could do a preschool story time. I could do a class visit. I could do whatever, because I've been a librarian for 55 years. I could do it all. So I said, I will come and I will volunteer if you don't have the appropriate person on staff to do it.
Well,
I'll
I thank you.
consult.
I
Thank you
thank you in
very much.
advance for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will reach out to my favorite children's librarian to see if she has any people.
Oh, yes, you should. You should reach
Might
out
have
to
some
her and
contacts
ask her
out
if
there
she
that
could
could
maybe volunteer in the interim until we could find the right candidate.
I'll see who she knows.
That would help. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else here have a comment on the budget?
On the budget.
Anybody on Zoom?
I think he said yes.
Is it about the budget?
muted, but they're not talking.
Okay,
Okay.
all righty. Well, then I will,
Yeah, sorry, nothing about the budget.
okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was God.
Then I will, I'll make a motion to close public hearing. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Do you have about,
Oh. Oh,
Well,
no, no
budget,
worries.
please.
Great. Come on up. Sorry about that.
I ran late.
I was told about a half hour.
Good evening. My name is Lorena Minnerly. I'm from Shenorock. We met last month, I think, regarding the traffic situation, and we submitted a letter November
This is,
20th.
I'm sorry, that's the regular public comment. We're just talking about the budget.
Just talking about the budget
Oh,
right
We'll
now.
be able to come back
You
up in a
come.
second.
You can stay right there, and I'll
yeah,
close
stay
it
right
out,
there,
and then you.
30
Sorry, I'm
seconds.
just
No, no worries.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
hang out.
That's why I was wondering why you.
I'm so sorry. I'm like,
No,
No
no
problem,
worries.
no problem, no problem.
I'll just,
So I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Patty, what we'll do is we'll move the budget to adopt next week. Okay. Now I'd like to make a motion to open up public comment to comment about anything that you may want to comment on.
Is there anybody here? Oh.
Second.
No, I'm kidding. You're
Well,
welcome.
second. We gotta open
All in favor?
Aye.
So
There
moved.
you go. Now it's you.
okay, now, Bidu. Hi, my name is Lorena Minnerly. I'm from Shenorock. We met last month, October, regarding the traffic in Shenorock. And we submitted a letter November 28th. I wanted to know if you received it, what's your take on it, and is there anything on our part as a resident that we can do in the interim?
So yes, we've received your letter.
Okay.
I know that when we were here the last time about Shenorock, I know that I still need to go out and do a drive-by.
Canvas. Okay.
And I just actually had a conversation with the highway superintendent actually this week
Okay.
about that. He mentioned to me, we need to go on a drive-by.
Sounds like a funny
So,
drive-by.
drive around.
A
Shenorock.
canvas?
So that is on me.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
once I do that, then I will
Okay.
follow up with you on that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Is there anything on our part that could help, like research or anything that you might help you with anything? Or I know I'm not like call anyone, but is there anything like any components that are missing that might say maybe if we had stats on this might be helpful for
Data
this?
gathering, it's a good question, but I don't think so.
They'll gather data. That's what they do. I would
Okay.
think anything. I think someone mentioned this last time about calling your state representatives, because really it is a state road, and
Right.
you can advocate for it, but they make the choice.
Right.
Or the regional DOT director, which the highway supervisor can tell you about. Highway superintendent can tell you about. The numbers right
Nick.
down here in
Okay.
hundreds. So I would think those things just to amplify your voice
Okay.
of the people in the neighborhood. I mean, that's all I could think of at least. But I think the more people who know about it and who understand it, because if anyone drives by there at rush hour, which I do almost every day, I understand the issue.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even inside Shenorock, regardless of the roads that are parallel, it's just when you're in there, it's Indy 500. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, and
Thank you
that's
so much.
That's a town issue.
That's a town-
separate
that's another
from
issue,
that
but-
light, though.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
Likewise.
Anybody else here for public comment?
Non-budget related.
Contact Peter Harkin's office. He's having an open mic thing in.
All right. We don't mean to interrupt.
Open mic with Pete.
Again, Barbara Tepper, speaking as a resident of Heritage Hills, 714 Heritage Hills. I like to look forward to the future. I like to envision what could be. And one thing that I see is that I had gone to Senator Peter Harkin's hearing in Ossining about a month ago or so, and I was really amazed at what I saw, what was going on in Ossining in terms of infrastructure improvements. And I know that Ossining is not a rich community. And I learned at that meeting that Ossining has a full-time grant writer for the town of Ossining to bring in funds that there's a lot of funding out there to pay for things that could greatly improve what we see here in town. And I was just thinking, why don't we do some, if we could find a way to do something like that. A good grants writer will bring in millions of dollars into your community. There's a lot of money out there for, let's say, electric vehicle buses, shuttle buses, to bring people around so that they don't have to take their car out to go to the bank, go food shopping, go from Shenorock to Baldwin to Purdy's to Baldwin to the places on Route 6. There's so much that could be done, and making it a more walkable community. There are a lot of real estate agencies rate communities by their walkability. This is not a walkable community by any stretch of the imagination. And this would also help with Shenorock, with the traffic light on 202, which I agree with. It's desperately needed. So maybe look into, for the next year, think about maybe getting a professional grant writer who could really bring in money.
Anybody want to take this?
Rich,
You want to take it, Rich?
We have a professional grant writer that we contract with.
Right, but I mean one that works
And-
full-time for the town of
Right.
Somers.
I understand what you're saying, and that's always a balancing act. And maybe you're right, because you're going to pay somebody, if they're good, well over, with benefits, well over $100,000.
Right.
That are well spent. Or we contract with someone for a couple of thousand a month.
Right.
For it. The thing I would say this, and you might be right, it's something we can always consider, that the one we have, it took years to find that one. And that was at the Association of Towns meeting in New York City with the 900-something towns of New York State.
Right.
And going through, there are so many who want to work for your town. And there's three ways you can do it. You can contract with someone
Right.
full-time, you're my grant writer. You can get someone who takes a piece of the action, so to speak. They send you the things, you decide whether you want to do it, they fill out the paperwork, and they get a certain amount if you get it. And then there are ones who work for you on a contract basis, as ours does. And but the one that we have, I believe, for the last category is, I believe, the best in New York State in that contractual basis. And are we losing out on things? In my opinion, not, but perhaps you're right, because the grant writer's job is to find all those, bundle them up, we get the information, send it back. Can we do that more efficiently than we're doing it? I just had that conversation last month with the grant writer. How can we make this more efficient? How can we
Right.
do it better to
Right.
qualify for more things? So that's a legit question. Whether we should hire someone full-time, maybe that's a thought for another day or a conversation for another time, but that would be it. But I do think, and I can assure you, having gone through that for years, that we have a very knowledgeable and competent Jay O'Connell and Associates from upstate, who is expanding now into this area. I mean, they're all over New York
Right,
State.
right, yeah.
So I'm sure you're familiar with them. I hope that you and Jennifer have found them to be knowledgeable, helpful, and on top of things. And if not, you would certainly let the supervisor and the town board know about that,
Please.
because we would definitely want to know that. And I found them to be responsive to our requests.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking,
Yeah, I understand
looking
what you're
forward to, with climate change and all, and I try not to take my car out if I don't have to. I walk to places, but it's not a walkable community.
Oh,
But we want to make it that. I want
Yes,
to make it that.
I would love to see it a walkable community. I would love
in,
it.
In the local area here, yes.
Yeah, I mean, even to have a pedestrian, a regular sidewalk in the town center here, so you can cross over 202 and cross over 100 safely. That would be a step in the right direction. And especially in Shenorock, because I know that people cut through there to avoid the traffic on 202. I know.
Barbara, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anybody else? Public comment? If not, I'd like to make a motion. I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, that takes us to matters of the town board here. Somers COVID-19 update. Yes, we're still doing this. We have 154 cases, so we are up as far as the cases. We were averaging right around that. Every time I talk about this, is around 90 to 100. We're up 154. We have 16 new cases as of today. I was on a call with Northern Westchester Hospital yesterday, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff that's been going on. We've talked about a little bit before here at the town board with depression and mental awareness. But what they've been seeing here is RSV has neutralized. I know there was a big spike in that, and kids were being very exposed to the RSV. And there's a couple of factors for that as to maybe why they were being that, because the testing has gotten a lot better. Okay, and people are now, they're able to really get down to the granular things for that. So that's why we've seen that the RSV up a little bit. And kids were also never really exposed to the RSV. There might have been some underlying stuff, and now they're really doing a lot of testing for it. Flu is up, which is pretty concerning for the hospitals. That is one thing. It's still not too late to get the flu shot if you choose to do that for yourself. As far as that, and COVID cases are up, as I just read there, 154, but they're not seeing that critical like they were before, unless there is some underlying condition, some underlying ailments of that. I just wanted to give that an update, especially from Northern Westchester Hospital. What we had a presentation with them yesterday, so I wanted to do that. Next, I'd like to bring up new Westchester Solar Power Credit Offering, a discussion here, and Carmen Santos from Sustainable Westchester. Good to have you here.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Supervisor, I'll be recusing myself.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let me start by sharing my screen and
Carmen, I think the
oh, yep.
last time she was on Zoom, wasn't she?
Yes, she was on
Carmen, you were on
Zoom.
Zoom the last time, correct?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
she zoomed right here.
All right. I'm gonna try to work with the mic and the presentation. So, okay, let's try this.
Now, Carmen, is this the same program you talked to us about the last time and an update on that? Or is this a different?
It's actually the same program. I know that we were called in for questions, so we prepared a presentation as a refresher just in case.
Oh, okay.
But I'll try to be quick in that case, and then we can go to your questions.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So, thank you, everyone. My name is Carmen Santos, and I'm here representing Sustainable Westchester to speak to you about the Westchester Power second offering called Solar Savings Now. We changed the name as we are progressing. We got a lot of feedback from our old name, and we were asked to think of other ones. So, Sustainable Westchester is a nonprofit here in Westchester County. We have about 44 municipalities that are members of the organization, and the county itself is a member. We work with sustainable solutions. Many of them are focused in advancing clean energy. Okay, so our work aligns with New York State's climate goals, especially this offering that I'll be speaking to you about tonight is that it's catered to meet the goal of benefiting 35% of the benefits that come out of the clean energy programs should be directed to disadvantaged communities. Okay, so we have various programs at Sustainable Westchester. Some of them are community energy programs, such as the Westchester Power Program, which I'll be speaking to you about tonight. We also have building energy decarbonization programs, both for residential and commercial. We have electrification solutions, such as clean transportation. And we also work with zero waste and just the reduction of waste in general. So the Westchester Power Program is a community choice aggregation program that advances clean energy choices, and it's offered on an opt-out basis. So 29 municipalities, including yourselves, are participating in the Westchester Power Program. It is a program that's regulated by New York State Public Service Commission. So you're participating in the electricity supply. That's one of its offerings, and it launched in 2016. It's a fixed rate electricity supply where savings cannot be guaranteed. This offering is not available to those that are in utility energy assistance programs. And so as I mentioned before, 29 municipalities are participating, about 145,000 households and businesses are participating in that offering. Now, the second one that I'll be speaking to you about tonight is launching in 2023. And it basically provides solar credit savings to subscribed participants. And the savings are guaranteed, so therefore utility energy assistance program participants can take part of this offering. So we're making this available to all communities in Westchester County. Okay, so now I'll start letting you know more about the solar savings offering. It uses New York State's community solar model. And what's new is that it's now on an opt-out basis. So participants are subscribed to a local solar project and eventually receive savings on their electricity bills. They can cancel at any time without any penalties or fees. And priority enrollment for solar savings will go to low to moderate income households, and we will be starting with those that are in utility assistance programs. Okay, so why are we prioritizing those that are in utility assistance programs? Because they face the highest burden of energy cost and have the greatest need. So some participants of such programs could also be participants of Home Energy Assistance Programs, HEAP, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP, and other assistance programs. We've identified about 30,000 of these households in Westchester County, with about 145 of them living in Somers. So as we proceed with our work, we will be prioritizing households in utility assistance programs first by working with those that adopt the or choose to participate in the offering first. And then we will be prioritizing disadvantaged communities as defined by the Climate Justice Working Group. And eventually we will be moving to other census tracts that have lowest area median household income. And our goal will be to enroll all utility assistance program participants within participating municipalities before we move to the next customer group. Okay, so what are the benefits of the solar savings offering? We save up to 10% on the electricity bill of participants. They do not need to install solar panels on their property. Things that will not change include their participation in their utility assistance programs, how they receive their electricity bill each month. So they'll continue to also work with the same electricity deliverer. So in your area it would be NYSEG. And they will continue to have the supplier that they used to have. So it could be NYSEG or an ESCO that they've chosen to work with. There is no cost to join, and they can cancel at any time. And their participation supports renewable energy development. So this is just a graphic that shows you how community solar works. Again, no installation on your property. Basically, you're attached to a local solar project that generates energy that delivers this energy towards a local power grid, and eventually the participant ends up receiving a monetary savings on their monthly electricity bills. Okay, so we can go into more details about how it's specifically going to be listed on the electricity bills of individuals. Basically, their local share of the local solar project will generate solar credits, 90% of those solar credits will be deducted, and 10% of those solar credits they will retain as savings on their electricity bill. So as an example, this individual, if they made, basically if they had $150 in their electricity charges, and they made about 100 solar credit savings, they were applied $100 for solar credit, $90 will be subtracted as a CDG subscription fee, and eventually they will retain $10, and so ultimately they would only be paying $140 for that bill.
Is the fee fixed?
The fee will always be 90% of the solar credit. So in this,
it'll move with the solar credit.
mm-hmm,
And
yes,
so you'll always be positive, but not necessarily.
you'll always have savings.
Always have
So
savings.
it could be $9 this month, it could be $10 next month, it could be $12 next month.
There's no limit on the number of dollars that you might save, but there's a limit on the percentage of the solar that you would save. Is that correct?
There's
It's 10%,
it's fixed,
but that
right?
could be, let's just say it could be $20 or it could be $2.
Well, the value
Yes.
stack, I mean, it's 10% of the value stack. Is that what it is?
It actually is. It is like 10% of the value stack in
So
a
does
way.
the value stack change? I mean, that's what Rich is asking.
Well,
value stack.
what happens? Well, it's beyond the value stack. So the value stack gives you a rate per energy produced, but then it also goes into the production of the solar system. So in the summer, it produces more energy, and in the winter, it produces less energy. So in the summer, you would get more money, and in the winter, you would get less.
And all this information
savings.
goes to NYSEG for billing?
Yes.
On a timely, accurate monthly
Yeah,
basis?
that's the question. How do they come up with the billing, right? So how do they handle that?
So they're actually, for full transparency, right now, NYSEG and all utilities are being scrutinized by New York State to do their billing more accurately. So we're actively working on that. They're actually considering negative revenue adjustments for utilities because it got to a very bad state with most of them in that they were not billing individuals on a timely fashion. And so now everyone is basically working towards automation, and that's something that they're promising to do by 2023.
When in 2023?
It's supposed to be
Longer than most.
NYSEG, I believe it's either March 2023 when they are saying that they would be fully automated.
And this program commences when?
So we will be starting. So even if NYSEG starts in March, we have a really long path to go. So as you know, with every community choice aggregation program, we need to do 2 months of outreach, and then we need to submit after you've approved your or you enacted your local law, and then we need to get approval from the state to proceed with mailing, and during that mailing they have a 30-day opt-out period. So that would be at a minimum of like 3 to 4 months just for our work. But then we also have to wait for the solar to be turned on, so the solar project, and we want to give them a 2-month lag time so that we're enrolled 2 months before they're turned on. It's turned on. So I would say something like it would take us 6 months. So
A Q3.
yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Got it.
All right. Can you?
Yeah.
And you're going to go. You're going to go from disadvantaged communities first, correct?
That's what
And
I
then
want to ask.
and then you're going to move to other than how's that chain going to work? And how do you and when will you say, okay, now we've handled this population first, then when will you say, hey, we're going to move on to the next population, then to the next population, then to the what is that time frame? So
Okay, so it will be based on solar capacity available. So the first group will actually be those that are in utility assistance programs. So they're scattered throughout. They may be located within specific census tracts, but we understand that they could be anywhere. So
I guess the question for us is, does that mean the 144 in Somers, they are
Yes.
part of that first group?
yes, they are.
Okay, so because Somers is a little wealthier than some other areas, but not as wealthy as I would like, at least speaking personally. But would they won't have to wait in line.
No, they
Okay.
well, I
It would
mean,
benefit them as soon as this would happen. They would benefit.
yes, but it again, we have about 30,000 households in Westchester County that are in that group.
Right.
So right now we've had about 11 or 12 municipalities already adopt the enabling law. So they're on track to be in the first participants. So it's really, we're going to prioritize the first participants because they will be active and we can proceed.
Is that because the solar production it's not all there already, so you have to add it.
Right.
It has to be
yes.
added, and so that's why it's incremental.
Oh, yes, and it,
So,
we-
trying to get, you must have modeled this out, to some extent, right? The capacity of solar, how quickly will the 30,000 absorb all the capacity, or how will the capacity meet the 30,000 over what time frame?
we would say something about 2 to 3 years to meet the 30,000. But if we can find more projects, and actually for the NYSEG zone, because that's where you're located, we will have more capacity available sooner. So we will move towards after targeting disadvantaged communities. Okay, so first it will be those in utility assistance programs. Then we'll move into those in disadvantaged communities designated by New York State. And then we will go into those, we will go towards small businesses that are in the electricity supply program. And then we will go to residents in the electricity supply program. And we assume that in NYSEG, we'll be able to do this much faster than in Con Ed.
So when you say the 145 for us, how many of those are utility assisted, and how many of those would be, fall in the census track?
Okay, for the 144, it's an estimate of those that are in utility assistance programs. In the town of Somers, you do not have any disadvantaged communities. So the next level up for your community specifically will be those that are small businesses that are in the electricity supply program.
So all right, so let me just tell you. So you roll it out in, say, Q3. There's no disadvantaged communities. The next phase, you have to fill up the disadvantaged communities first and then move into the
Small
small businesses. So now we're looking at probably 2024.
Yes,
All right, and then
think
are they
more than
allowed
that.
to opt in?
I think we're talking
Okay.
2 years out.
So
Three.
we so again, remember that 30,000. Think of the NYSEG territory as more like 700. There aren't a lot of individuals that are in the utility assistance programs.
Okay.
So we will move a lot faster in the NYSEG territory. So we will be going to small businesses very soon after we launch.
After
so
the launch, which is
Right.
Q3, which is
Q3,
2024.
Q4. So we will then, I would say, in 2024, be going towards residents. So,
Okay.
all right.
And again, so just to flip this around,
The-
who's disqualified in the residents? Anybody?
Okay, so you had two questions. So let me answer the first one about opting in. It's important to note that because capacity is limited, there will be limited chances to opt in. So if someone opts out, they would basically go back to the back of the line. Just because we have so many individuals that need to come in to the offering.
So opt-in gets you on a queue.
But all the way to the back because we already are going to have a queue. Because as soon as we know who's participating, we can extract the data for the individuals that will be in this queue.
So you can opt out at any time. It's just when you opt in, you're going to be put in a quew.
Towards the end of
Towards
the
the
line.
end of the queue, yes. You got to go to the back of the line. You got to wait online until everybody else decides to do it. So,
Well,
okay.
unless
Yeah.
you're, unless you're a priority disadvantaged
But
individual,
we don't have any.
or they don't opt in, then how does that work?
We're gonna try to
144.
communicate strongly that individuals should really think about opting out because now because you have a much smaller group of utility assistance programs in NYSEG, we can continue to prioritize them. I guess if that's something that you would want. I think it would be easier here in the NYSEG territory than in Con Ed. Con Ed, it would be very difficult for us to do
We're
that.
not your sweet spot for sure, but, I mean, how are you going to communicate this? I'm thinking from a point of view of, you're going to target your marketing communication, opt-in communication to the 144 in stages, or does it go broadcasted to everyone?
So because I think it would be certainly, like you said, it's much easier in Con Ed and we know which census tracts we would be targeting. But in the in northern Westchester and NYSEG area, I think we would have to focus on a broad communication, but being very transparent about who would likely qualify in the first group, and yeah, that would be how we would proceed.
Yeah, that could get like confusing. I had somebody at work come to me and say, he lives in North Salem, and says, I have this opportunity, and he wasn't sure what he was asking me. I wasn't sure what I was answering. I just thought it was what we're talking about here.
Okay.
But he's not one of the, one of the 144 class or the census tract, so he's probably got a mailer that he's not going to have this available to him for years, right?
No, well, like I said, in maybe the second year, it would be available for him.
But
This
isn't
has
there
been
another?
adopted
I'm
in
sorry.
North Salem, though, right? Right, has been adopted in North Salem?
It has.
But there's another program, Community Solar, I think it's called, that I get, and the billing is behind, and so I get, a bill of $500. Well, because it was behind all the others.
Yes.
But maybe that gentleman's, because I think that's hard for people. There are two distinct sorts of programs. One is a totally opt-in by me last year, the year before, to get solar credits from a solar farm upstate, but I had to wait till it was built, so I had to wait online. Now I'm in, they produce solar, part of it credits me and other people who bought in at the time. This is a different program, so it's really two programs. I mean, just correct me when I'm wrong. I'm trying to figure it all out. And maybe the gentleman in North Salem, he's thinking of the one I have, which is called Community Solar.
Yes, it's a community solar
Okay.
program right now, and so that's how we started. We started
you
with
based it on
one that you would sign up for, but eventually we worked towards rolling that same program into the Westchester Power program to utilize its mechanism of opt-out. So, and that's what we're implementing. So it's
So community solar is going away or going to be folded in?
So we are in the process of deciding that. We are thinking one path forward is that we bring it into Westchester Power.
Do our community residents have community solar? We can
do.
participate in that.
Right now, yes,
On an
that's
election
how.
basis.
Right.
Yes,
Elect.
Right.
right now, and we're actually actively enrolling those who are interested in community solar. Right now, we have some capacity.
It's so hard because I don't know what's coming and going and how I can explain this.
And that will
Where's
be.
that flow chart?
I don't even know.
I know.
If we want to be your advocates.
Right, we got to understand it.
No, I completely understand that, and we will work to make sure that we have the right outreach and communication. We're actually right now in the process. We've basically created all of our materials. We're translating it. Next, we're going to be testing it with audience members. So we are being very methodical about this because this is an incredible opportunity that we don't want people to not participate because they don't understand what it is. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody? Anything else? No. Any other highlights?
Any other highlights? Well, as I mentioned, that this is going to go through an opt-out period. So, like the electricity supply, after we do outreach, residents will receive notification letters. They'll have 30 days to opt out, and if they choose to not opt out, they will be subscribed to a local solar project.
Can I hold you there? What is local? You said earlier on one of the earlier slides, support local solar projects. Well, what do you define as local? Anything in the NYSEG area? Or
Anything
in
in
your
the
state?
utility, anything in your same utility zone.
Our zone, like the Brewster zone? We're in the Brewster zone? Or the NYSEG
The
zone?
NYSEG utility
So anywhere in New
territory.
York State that NYSEG supplies energy, and so this primarily upstate. I'm saying locally, you're not going to build one of these in Westchester. There's no room.
Yes.
So it's primarily upstate in the areas where NYSEG serves. It could be Rochester, it could be Syracuse, or I don't know where they all are. But okay, just so
That's
I understand what local means.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And I had a question about the timing of the process. Our citizens have 30 days to opt out. When should they start expecting this mailer? And when do they have to make that decision?
It would be after we do the 2-month targeted outreach to the community, and we will be working with you throughout that time.
Okay, but we don't have a month or year schedule for that?
No, not
Or
yet.
just-
Not yet. No.
Okay.
So just to communicate why why this is an opt-out basis, it's because we've had community solar, as we have a person here that's participating, but we have not been able to reach a lot of low to moderate income households. Even though we've tried a lot, our own organization, others across the state, and
They're
so
not
now.
probably even responsive to it. They're probably not even responsive to the ads.
Well, they have a lot of challenges. For example, just not having a computer, not having a phone to take a picture of your utility bill. They've had a lot of barriers. And so this opt-out model removes a lot of them because they're automatically enrolled unless they choose to not opt in.
My advice to
I think it's crazy.
Westchester, Sustainable Westchester, is we did this at the town at the 4th of July in Reese one year, where to get people into that program where you energize.
Okay.
All right, we had the computers right there, and people signed up, filled, because it was the whole thing. It was like you say, people, I ain't filling this thing out. I don't know what to do. And you just sat there and filled it out, and you got yourself that free energy audit right there. I mean, that's my suggestion has been to Sustainable Westchester. Personally, I made that suggestion to them. That worked well. I would do that whenever you have a large gathering of people.
Yes, and unfortunately, the last year and a half we were limited because of COVID,
Sure.
but we are using that approach to now helping some organizations join community solar faster.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yes. Okay, so community impact with the offering. We're promoting climate action and equity. It strengthens local communities. It encourages renewable energy development, and we are achieving our New York State Climate Act goals. So, like I mentioned before, we'll be here for you through the outreach period. We're going to prepare the collateral materials, the notification letter. We'll have customer service, and also Spanish-speaking support. So the next steps for the town of Summer is to adopt the enabling law. And basically, the updated enabling law has new language that allows the solar savings offering to be provided on an opt-out basis. And after that, we'll circulate an administration agreement, which you'll review in order to finalize your participation.
So an enabling law, is that like a franchise agreement that they just, we're giving them permission to essentially conduct business in the town? There's no workflow for me.
Yes, it's kind of like that.
Well, the enabling law does not give us any real permission. It's just a law that enables you to offer a CCA program with this offering inside of it.
But I don't offer it. You offer the CC program.
Yes.
I essentially just say,
Well,
go
we
do
enable it.
Yes.
We enable it legally. you know, it's like an agreement,
Authorizing you to be able to do it.
Yes.
authorizing me to be able to
You,
do,
the town, to
to,
be able to enroll in this program.
which is, okay, so it's because it's an opt-in, I'm
Yes.
essentially giving, I'm not giving somebody a choice. I'm
'Cause it's
legislating
opt-out.
their choice. They need to start, but with the option not to.
Then they have to opt out.
And that's
Yeah,
always
and
an
it's
interesting-
specifically very important because it's an opt-out model. The and this is I would say it's something that a municipality can do. So you're just exercising your right to do it.
Well, I understand the point of it, which is that it's in everyone's advantage, I think we all would agree, to reduce energy consumption via carbon or, you know, whatever, natural gas. I saw my bill the other day from, said a lot of it's natural gas, most of it was natural gas. But whatever, you're burning something. And so it's to everybody's advantage to decrease that in the future, and you got to lower that in the atmosphere. I think everyone would agree. And you have such, as you say, a low opt-in for the community solar event that it makes sense to say, you don't have to do it, but we're going to put you in unless you really have some whatever reason not to. And so that's the rationale for it. Am I correct?
So the rationale for it in terms of the opt-out is, okay, you're automatically helping community members benefit from a New York State model savings program. So
and it is regulated by the PSC or overseen by the PSC.
It is.
And you
Yes.
can't spend more money. You're just going to be charged less money,
Yes.
no matter 10% or 4%, whatever.
Yeah, so, I mean, just, it's really a nuance. It's not you're not reducing consumption.
No.
It's a savings program.
Right.
You know, this is a way that they're directing investments into solar projects, all right? And they have some formula that gives you a credit for that.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Yes.
But you're not getting, you know, any greener electrons, or you're directing, and you're also hoping you get a savings on this. What if you don't have a savings on the solar project?
So the only way you wouldn't have savings is if the solar project goes down.
Well,
Right.
you know, it's a 30-year project with a return, you know, and
Right.
it's the difference between, you know, your cost of investment. I don't go with that, but yeah. It's got-
Yeah. So.
But as soon as it's creating power, we're saving money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and the nice thing about it in going over that incentive program that you were describing is basically that we're encouraging more renewable energy to be developed. And eventually, if more is developed, then our grid, our common grid, electricity grid, will be greener.
Oh, well. You got what car manufacturer just announced? No carbon-based, no gasoline-powered vehicles after 2025. I mean, same idea, all going to be electric.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
25 to 35.
25. One of them just announced 25.
Okay.
Really?
I forget which one it is.
Carmen, thank you. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom, wanna come back up and join us.
Did you have dinner? What happened?
He had some Snickers.
Nice.
He had some Snickers for us. Okay, let's move right along here to number 3. Authorize supervisor to execute the renewal contract for the town's 2023 map management, maintenance, and CAI technologies. I'd like to move that to the consensus agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 4 here, new building fee structure. Patty, we're going to move that to a later date. Okay?
Okay.
Nutrition programs contract, American Rescue Plan grant discussion. I think we're all pretty good with that. I'd like to make a motion to move that to consensus agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So moved. Parks and Rec, there's no additional business. Financial, authorized 2022 general fund budget transfers per email from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. I'd like to make a motion for that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved.
Just back on that nutrition grant, do we know what a dollar amount what that grant is?
Yes, we do, but I think it's, I have it here.
Bigger than a bread box.
And, nutrition, where the heck is it?
Definitely bigger than a bird box.
Definitely bigger than a bird box. I could take it offline with you, not to,
Yeah,
it's
take
not
it
to,
offline.
I'll take it offline with you. Personnel, we do have some current vacancies here. If you're interested, please check out our website. There's some vacancies out there that we're looking to fill. And if you're interested in one of the vacancies, please send your resume to my office, and we'll be with the position that you're looking to, the vacancy, and we'll be more than happy to bring you in for an interview. Number 3, acknowledge the retirement of Denise Shermer from her full-time status. As such, she will leave her part-time position as secretary to the Architectural Review Board effective January 11th, 2023. Denise will continue in her secretary of the Zoning Board of Appeals part-time position effective January 12th, 2023. I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge her retirement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody have anything to say on that? Or?
Yeah, I like dealing with her for what it's worth. She's always very knowledgeable. She directs. She's responsive. She's quick to respond. She's thorough in her responses, and I'm glad she's not going away altogether. And I'm glad she's still with us part
I
time.
agree with you. I think that she started working for the town when she was a teenager, I think in high school. And, and she's been in every, like if I have a question about something, I just go to Denise. She knows more about everything.
She knows more about Somers.
So it doesn't matter what it is. Go to Denise. She knows stuff. And, so I'm glad that she is still available to the town, at least on a part-time basis. And I know she's got a grandchild she's going to help with, so that I think that's part of her motivation, and God bless her for that.
So I've known Denise since I was probably 3 years old. Went to school with my sister. She's a great employee. She's a great person. Her husband worked at the schools for years.
Right.
So I'm glad she's staying on board. She does a great job. She knows what she's doing inside out. So she's just a great person.
Thank you, Denise.
Yep, I'm sure she will probably turn on this tomorrow and watch it. So, thank you. She's made my transition here pretty smooth. And I know when I was on the Zoning Board of Appeals, I sat right next to her right there, and she always had some information and backstories for us. And I am glad that she is not leaving us. She's still here on a part-time basis, so her knowledge of everything that goes on is unprecedented. So thank you for staying a little bit longer.
I don't think she's going to wait till tomorrow. I think she's probably
Yeah,
watching
Yeah,
right
she's
now.
probably watching right now.
Taking notes on
surprised I
everything
didn't
we
get a
did
text
wrong, all the histories we neglected
Yeah.
to talk about. So
Exactly.
she's probably doing that right now.
I'm checking with her.
So let me move right on to number 4 here. Acknowledge the rehiring of Mr. Nicholas Hinckley as full-time road maintainer at an annual salary of $56,787, spot 5 until union contract determination, which he'll receive 90% for his first 6 months of an hourly rate of 24 spot 5715. Then he will receive 95% after 26 weeks. Upon completion of his 1 year of service, he received the full-time salary rate. Per memo dated November 30th, 2022, from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways, effective March 5th, 2022. Continued upon the successful results of the physical drug tests, reference, background, and driver's license checks. I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge the rehiring.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Planning and engineering, there is no additional business. Police, there's no additional business. Everybody had a chance to look at the consensus agenda. Like to make a motion to approve the consensus agenda.
That's for next week.
No, that's for. I always do.
ahead of yourself.
I
don't
always do this. You know that?
Oh, but this one you can't.
This is when I can, right? So
You get it.
propose the consensus agenda for next week. Right? Okay.
You were on a roll, though.
I was on a
No
roll. I was
question.
trying to make up some time here.
Let's see.
You're doing good.
Thank you.
Bedtime.
Calendar. The rest of the 2022 calendar. December 15th, we have our town board regular meeting at 7 o'clock. December 28th, 9 a.m., town board special meeting. And then we have our calendar for 2023. We have January 5th, 7 o'clock, town board organizational meeting and town board work session. And then the 12th, we have our town board regular meeting. and then February we're on from there. We do have some announcements. The town Christmas tree tradition. If you are still interested in taking a picture with your children outside with the ruler in front of the Christmas tree, you're still able to do that. Just please call us by appointment, and we'll be more than happy to do that from 9 to 4 p.m. Somers Historical Society, holidays at the Wright Reese Homestead and the Somers Library. That is Saturday, December 10th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Somers Library, and then 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Wright Reese Homestead. There's crafts, there's carols, there's story time, all sorts of good things. Also, from the 12 to 4 p.m. at the Wright Reese Homestead is the 9th annual gingerbread festivities. Gingerbread houses on entries are due Saturday, December 10th, between 9 and 10. So if you still want to make that gingerbread house, please, you can do that from 9 to 10 a.m. We have a senior Saturday lunch on December 17th, the Church of the Good Shepherd. That will start at 12 p.m. We also have the Town of Somers annual menorah lighting for Hanukkah. That will be Sunday, December 18th, and that's right here at the Elephant Hotel. The Holidays on the Hill annual train show, and that is at it's still going on, November 26th, and that goes through December 31st, and that's at Lasden Park. The Muscoot Farm Holiday Lights on the Farm, that is Friday and Saturdays, December 9th and 10th, 16th and 17th, and that's at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., and tickets are $25 per family of 4. Yesterday was Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, December 7th, 1941, right? It's the 81st anniversary on the attack in Hawaii. And then yesterday we were also at the Veterans Brunch at the Somers High School. Was put on by, I think, by the students, right?
Yes.
By the students, Brenda O'Shea, the student coordinator, organizers for the second year. It's very well attended. Maybe 150 people.
Yeah, but
your dad was there.
My dad was there. Yeah, he was there, sitting around with all the other veterans, and they did a really nice job. It was great to see the community come together, and especially the younger generation having a hand in making sure that the older generation was letting them know they're attended to, and it was really nice. They did a great job. They had breakfast there. Yeah. There were so many people. There was about 150 people. It was really nice.
It was a great gesture, and there was 2 World War II veterans there.
Yeah.
Really?
One was his birthday.
One was his
no
birthday.
kidding.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow. That's amazing.
So what is it? The Greatest Generation?
Greatest Generation. Yeah. And then the last thing too, right? For those of you out there that want to keep updated on town news, I suggest, and also for people to go out there and sign up for the news and announcements on our town's website.
Sounds like this is a Christensen directive.
Well, it could be, right? I mean, there's a lot of people who've been asking us to what's going on in town and announcements. So you can go to somersny.com, and there's a bunch of links there. We've adjusted the website a little bit so you can be able to follow the links to get certain news on certain things that are going on, and it's right on the homepage. So I would love everybody to go on there to have an idea about what's going on in town. I think it's important that you do. So go on there and sign up. Anybody else?
Speaking of what's going on in Somers, or what has gone on in Somers, if you don't live in a cave, you must have heard that Titletown has earned another title. Our football team, Somers High School Tuskers, state champions, a decisive win over Union Endicott last Saturday. They had great weather in the Dome over at Syracuse, and it was just a tremendous event. Special thanks to Somers Police Chief Linkletter and Sergeant McGuire. They helped very much plan a police escort and execute a police escort for the team bus that came home Saturday night, as well as Somers Fire Department, John Mackey and Greg Lucia. I believe in total there were 17 or 18 vehicles in this procession. So a well-deserved welcome home and congratulations to the coach, the team, the school, and the town.
Yeah, for those of you we've gotten phone calls. Is the town going to do anything for a parade for the team? It looks like I got off the phone with the school earlier today, and looks like they're probably going to want to do something towards March. Kids are sort of in mid-season again now. They want to get through there, the holiday time. So we're looking probably in March. Right, and then we'll start preparing or doing something and organizing in February sometime.
Exciting.
Anything?
Well, I would just say this. Having coached high school sports for a while myself, when your first 2 years as coach is second and then first in the state, what's
pretty
Anthony DiMatteo got in mind? And I've known him since he was he was with my daughter in school, probably 5th grade or something. He's a wonderful person. He deserves all of that. He works hard at it. It's not the most important thing in the world, but something to be proud of forever. And all those boys and coaches they have a bond that will never be broken. That's the beautiful thing of sports. And winning the game, you win, but it's the bond between people that is so great. Kind of like serving on the town board. You know that? You know that?
Tight knit group here.
And you want to mention one coach in particular?
Yeah.
Never mind, we don't. I was told we don't.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about that excellent JV girls basketball
Oh,
coach.
okay,
I know
sorry.
that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I heard he's great.
Tom, anything?
No. All good.
Anthony?
Oh, gosh, you know what? I wanted to mention Dennis Crilly. Dennis Crilly was he was head of the Knights of Columbus. I got to know him in 2012 when he came before the board, and he presented an application for a nativity, dedication. It was a First Amendment issue, I guess, at the time.
It was at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And but he broke ground, and so it's been very successful. It usually precedes the Christmas tree lighting, and as a quick follow to that, we've done the menorah lighting on the every
Sure.
year on the 18th,
Sure.
and so everybody gets an opportunity to kind of celebrate. So Dennis passed this year, and we just want to tip our hat to him. We're thinking of him,
Good idea.
He was a very nice guy.
Very.
and his wife as well. She's with us, but she's very nice.
Yeah, I'm out of order of which. I was just wondering if the finance director, we missed something about the budget before. I see you sitting there. I go, I wonder if he's got something he wanted to say about that budget.
Or
you just like being
he's
in
just
our
taking
company?
it in tonight.
He was
He's just
just
taking it in.
Characteristic.
You've never said we were likable, so I'm not quite sure.
I think he was sleeping with his eyes open.
leaving during the meeting.
Thank you. Thank
Did
you,
we
Bob.
miss anything about that budget that should have been said?
You covered it all.
Thank you.
In fact, I had the camera on him the whole time.
Did you catch you was falling
He's falling
asleep
asleep.
before? Did you guys see that?
No, that.
Good.
I have nothing else for here for tonight, and so I just want to say I'd like to make a motion then to close out tonight's town board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
All right, be safe.